Here we go, folks. In today's video, it's all about Detroit Lions news and rumors, and we got a lot of topics to talk about. A couple free agents came up. Should the Detroit Lions look to sign these said free agents? We're going to go over those two players. I'm going to give you my thoughts on those, and should the Lions do it. A crazy Lions-Bills trade idea popped up. We're going to go over that trade idea. Is it realistic? Is it just thrown out there because it is the offseason? Dan Campbell getting a lot of respect around the NFL. That is a positive thing. But before we get into today's video, if you're a fan of the Detroit Lions, hey, you're going to want to subscribe to the channel. Why is that? Because I like to drink water. Let's go ahead and get into Lions Show. Lions being urged to sign some free agents here, one being Brandon Scherff, offensive line. Now, we've talked about him before because of the free agency period. This was before the NFL draft, obviously before Frank Ragnow. And they're urged to sign him before in free agency. When Zeitler left, he could have been an option. But now after the draft, obviously you get Frazier, you get Ratledge. But again, you had a player in Frank Ragnow who did retire. They did bring in another player in free agency center to really supplement it. Look, if the Lions wanted to bring in a Brandon Scherff, I wouldn't mind that at all. It's not. I think that the Lions is about as good as they're going to get in regards to the depth that they want. Yeah, you could bring in Scherff. Maybe he's a little bit better from another player, but is it a significant upgrade to warrant giving out a contract or even any of that? So they could. I don't think they're going to go that route. I don't think it's that big of a deal, to be honest with you. But that's an option. Now, another player in here they put on here is Keenan Allen, and I don't see this to be in the situation at all. The Lions are really good at the wide receiver position. The depth-wise is amazing. It's the best depth at the position that we've seen in some time. This is probably the best depth at wide receiver since this regime has taken over. If you just look from top to bottom, I mean, it's ridiculous. Really good, right? You got Amon-Ra St. Brown 1, Jamison Williams. He could be a number 1. Let's keep it a buck, and he's probably going to ascend to that this year, right? You have a player in Tim Patrick. Now he's 30, but he's pretty good, right? You get Isaac Tesla, who we drafted, right? He's going to come in here and help out. You already have Khalif Ray. The Lions wide receivers are pretty good. We got a mixed talent of high-quality starters, young players, and in veteran in there. So I don't think so. Would you sign Keenan Allen? Why for yes and for no? Give me your thoughts on this one. Let's go to the next one here, and that is my man. And I seen this, and this is ridiculous, by the way. Hassan, or the Lions' 6th-round pick, he put up 405 pounds doing the bench press, kicking butts over there. I gotta give shout out to that man. This guy is a physical beast. He's trying his best, and it shows. If you watch the clip of him working out, he's putting all his body and effort into everything. Look, if Hassan fails, it's not because he didn't try. That is one thing that we all know, and I think we're all right now really learning to love about this young rookie, as this dude is going all in, and if he fails, hey, he literally went all in. If this guy succeeds, he succeeded because his mental capacity, his drive is astronomical. This guy's amazing. He's an amazing young man. He's, I seen he was getting married too. I mean, he's just got a great head on his shoulder, right? He knows exactly what he's wanting in life. So if he fails as a Detroit Lion, we can't hate on this guy. I'm never going to hate on this guy. He's given it his best. If he fails, he gave his best and failed. You know he's not taking a playoff. He is the 6th-round Aidan Hutchinson in regards to, physical stature and being in the best shape and trying to help his team out and trying to learn more constantly. Hassan's awesome. He's the first Egyptian player, coming from Egypt, because that's where him and his family's from. Awesome, and his family obviously lives here in Michigan. Great too, by the way. A bunch of Lions fans, we come on now. Yeah, bring them all over here. Come on down to the state of Michigan as we picked you up, right? Come on over here, become Lions fans. But he's just a good young man. I love to see it and continue to grind and to put up the type of weight. He's only 6'2". He's not the biggest guy in the world, 265? So that's a lot of weight for his size, and he's going to do the squats and everything. Just keep it up. He's good to go. Dan Campbell getting a lot of respect around the NFL, and Pro Football Network's Brandon Austin ranks Campbell as the 5th best head coach in the NFL, only behind Eagles' Nick Sirianni, Baltimore Ravens' John Harbaugh, Sean McVay, and Andy Reid. So he's on a good list right there, and it explains the reason why. Because the reasons why is here. Dan Campbell's completely reshaped the Detroit Lions' identity. In just a few seasons, he's taken a franchise long defined as a bottom dweller and turned into a legitimate contender. Campbell's next chapter may be his most difficult, as he has watched both his offensive and defensive coordinators leave for head coaching jobs, including one division rival Chicago Bears, turn the Lions into winners, but now he has to ensure to say that they're over the hump. Here's the thing about a head coach, and I want you to rank Dan Campbell right now in the NFL. Let me get a different thing here. Rank Dan Campbell right now in the NFL for where you have him as a head coach. 1, if you think he's the best. 32, if you are a delusional Packers fan. So here we go. When it comes to this, a coach is all about getting the best out of what he has, right? It's tapping into a player. What can I do to get the best out of this guy? They are just, they get it, right? They understand to tap the potential. They know the buttons to press. They know the motivation. They know the dedication. They know the hard work. He has it. And he has changed this franchise completely. And we've seen players come in here and just get better and better and better. It's not because these players are just they're just amazing. That is also to the account that you have a competent coaching staff who knows how to get the best and out of the players and elevate their game. That's coaching. Years past, players come to Detroit. They don't get better. They don't elevate. They stay or regress. This is a different era. You come to Detroit, you're getting coached up, your value as a player is getting higher. You're getting players that's getting nice deals leaving Detroit. You're getting coordinators that's getting head coaching jobs, okay? This stems from what Dan Campbell has done, all right? It is literally it's not just a talking point. Franchises are paying people from the Lions organization to represent their organization. Players as well as personnel and coaching alike. And it does stem from Dan Campbell. A lot of this does. And it's awesome. It's awesome to see. And there's nothing wrong with saying that. There's nothing wrong with shouting out DC in the building. So that's awesome, man. Here's another, and this came up, and I actually thought this is a great conversation topic, and I wanted to throw this in here because I've noticed this, and I just wanted to kind of inform the people that are not involved in the Lions stuff as much as I am or other fans, because a lot of you guys are just casual fans. You just want to know what's going on as of late. But if you're on Facebook or social media, you're noticing we're getting some crazy stuff. It's actually AI. And they're it's like AI fake articles are happening now all the time, and a lot of fake information is coming through all the time now. Okay, if it's on Facebook, if it's on Twitter, social media, whatever. But we're getting this now. And so this article is talking about this from my man Mike Payton, and go ahead and read about it. But there's a lot of fake news now because of that. And this is an interesting take on how you want to get your news. I think, as this AI stuff goes forward, and it's affecting the sports world. It's weird. I love AI, by the way. If you're on Facebook, you get all sorts of the AI. You get those action figures. That thing's the craziest thing. But you do get videos, and you're getting all sorts of stuff that it's hard to tell. But I think that if you're legitimate getting the news, and you're a casual fan, just don't go to Facebook, right? Twitter can be good sometimes, but you would have to do the right Twitter accounts. we're talking about the M Lives, the Pride of Detroit, the people that are sitting there and they just do it all the time. Even if that's the route you're wanting to go, that's what I would suggest. But yeah, if you go on Facebook, you'll see all sorts of crazy stories. It's just not true, and so try to avoid those folks, because I get I get DMs a lot about it, and I'm like, yeah, it's not true. It's not true. It's just not true. So just be cautious, folks, as we get onto this next article. Understand now, AI is becoming there is good and there's a bad, right? So. Talking about players that everybody can't wait to see. Christopher Knox talking about, of course, that the Lions are wait to see who? Aidan Hutchinson. Now, yeah, for sure, everybody wants to see Aidan Hutchinson come back. They want to see he should have been a variant in Deadpool and Wolverine 3 as Wolverine, Aidan Hutchinson, because he is the Hutcherine. But yeah, so I'm not really looking for. I've never been worried about Aidan Hutchinson. You've known this. It was a break. The player that I'm kind of really looking forward to is Derek Barnes coming back. That's a really significant one. He went down early in the season, and I thought he had a pretty integral part to Lions linebacking core during our playoff run. We went to the San Francisco 49ers. That's the player that I'm looking back from coming back from injury right off rip. The second one would be Alim McNeill, but he's not going to be back anytime soon. We're talking, halfway through the season, Thanksgiving-ish time, in my opinion. So right off rip, mine's Derek Barnes. And then Alim McNeill, I'm just not worried about Aidan Hutchinson. I haven't been. Let's get into this crazy trade idea that came from Athlonsports here. Talking about that the Lions should trade DJ Reader for AJ Epinesa. I actually thought this was quite interesting trade. I never really thought of a player. I like player trades, player swap. And when we were talking about the 53, we always talk about this, like there's a player gets traded for a player before teams formulate the 53, even though it's little tiny trades, it's nothing serious. It's always a little bit fun. I always like those little ones. But this one would be a pretty decent one. It says DJ Reader for AJ Epinesa. And you look at it, you're like, oh, that potentially could be. But I'm going to tell you why this is not going to be the case. The Lions' interior defensive line was weak. That's why they got Tyleik Williams due to Broderick Martin not trusting him and Alim McNeill being injured. Levi and Uzurike on a one-year deal. So here in Roy Lopez, they're going to keep DJ Reader because they don't trust Broderick Martin and Alim McNeill. That's why they got Tyleik Williams. That's another reason why. So they're not going to trade DJ Reader right now because they need DJ Reader. Our interior, because of Alim McNeill, got weak. His injury really affected us, and they're big in the interior. You've heard him talk about it a trillion times. So they're not going to trade DJ Reader. He'll leave after his contract's up. That'll be with him, and but he's not going to get traded. AJ Epinesa, I actually liked him coming out of the draft, a second-round pick many years. I had a second round grade or something like that, or I forget, but that was years ago. I don't think that the Bills are going to make a trade, and I don't think the Lions going to make a trade. If they wanted to get a pass rusher, they would do Za'Darious Smith. But that's my thoughts for today's Lions news. Give me your thoughts in the comments as we get closer to training camp. Adios.